All right. Tuesday night AMA, we are back. Thank you for tapping in. Let's get it, man. Semifinals, Adam. Are you fucking ready, buddy? Semifinal week.
I'm ready, man. The Final Four. I'll just tell you, I caught some nice heartbreaking L's. So I'm not in as many semis as I'd like to be, but we're still in a few. You know, we're in I think four.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Like, how your team's doing, man? I had to count mine up today. I was just kind of curious where I was at.
Teams aren't doing as great as I would love. I had a few semis, man, that just went wrong. I think I'm in four. I'm only in four now out of 7. So.
Well, that ain't bad.
Yeah. Took 3 L's last week.
I took a couple L's too.
You know?
A couple L's. Some of them can't do nothing about it. I mean,
oh my goodness. I don't want to.
300's a great fucking score, and I hit it and still lost. So.
We got Fizzle in the house. Fizzle, what's good, man? Fizzle, glad to have you here.
Yeah,
you
Appreciate you
popping
that comment
in, man.
Bigger, man. We can't disrespect Fizzle like that.
It's we're changing the 1080p to 4K, and it's all tiny, so I had to
all over the map.
had to put the resolution up. Appreciate you being in the building, Fizzle. We got a bunch of people in here. We got Alex Sorsey. We got Dr.
What's
B.
up?
Harris. He thinks he has an idea for his 4D podcast topic. Dr. B. Harris won the YouTube giveaway where he got to pick the topic. So, Dr. B. Harris, let us know what it is, man. Maybe not this week, but we'll get it to you soon. Ryan's in the building. Dynasty Alex. Oh, we got it. Hold on, man. Am I seeing this right, Mike? We got a Gabriel Garcia sighting?
No.
Come on.
Not a
no.
Gabe. Not a Gabe.
Gabriel Garcia? No.
Good to see you, buddy. Adam, man, I counted them up today. 11 out of 30. 11 out of 30
Nice.
Dynasty leagues in the semis. Could have been 14. Could have been. But, I took some L's too in the first round. It's good, though. I mean, this is a big week. Not only, I mean, it's nice to win a championship, but this is the money-making round because most leagues you're guaranteed to win something if you finish second, right? Like, you get to the championship and, like, it's not a lot, but at least you get something, right?
You're not
league dues back. It's you league dues times 2 or 3 or whatever the hell the payout is.
Yeah, 1,000%. Not only you're not donating, right? Even if you don't win, which sucks to not win the title, but you'll be probably doubling or tripling your money at least. So, it's still the right place to be is in the championship game, even if you don't come out on top. But if you ain't first, Mike, you last. Be last. That's right.
Last week was the week to be last, man. We found out a lot of leagues around there getting the 101, getting those draft picks locked up, knowing exactly where you're at.
Marlon says his anxiety's on high. What's going on, Marlon? So, yeah, man, we got a bunch of people. Oh, Adam the Goats. All right, Gabe. I appreciate the shout-out.
My anxiety's on a high, too, right? Fantasy analyst, playing a lot of fantasy leagues, big week coming ahead. And, Adam, man, one of the guys on the thumbnail, for me, very important. Is he playing this week or is he not playing this week?
Well, I had to put him there, and I put him in the corner. I had the jacket. I found the perfect picture, I thought, Mike. He's got the jacket on. He's smiling. He's still playing well. He's got a little bit of the sun glare on him, right? But it's like, okay, you've been great. You've gotten me here. But just don't bail on me now. Mike, that's how – you know what's crazy, Mike?
Every damn week, man. We did Kyler last week. Now it's Jalen Hurts.
Can we
just have nice things?
I don't think we can. The 3 leagues that I did lose this week, Mike, all had at least one and most of them multiple quarterback injuries. So I'm like, the team's real nice still, even despite all the fucked up injuries we've had, right? And it's like, all right, can I patch up quarterback together? I'm going Brett Rippin as my QB2. I'm going Colt McCoy. Yeah. Turns out, Mike, that patch job it wasn't, let's just say it wasn't Flex Seal or the Magic Seal, buddy, because it didn't do shit. We still lost.
No,
yeah, T-Rock sees it. This is as Mike and I like to say, a nice girthy pour. I've already torn into quite a bit of it. I'll have to pour up again. But, yeah, man.
It sucks.
T-Rock's out here kind of flexing on me, but, he took down Mike, and that's kind of been a point of contention. But, hey, T-Rock.
No, I got no problem losing
good luck
to T-Rock.
I know you don't. Good luck to you in shit auction, man. That was a close game you guys had too, man.
T-Rock earned it. Congratulations to T-Rock. It's his 7-year-old co-manager that I have a fucking issue with. That guy gets on my last fucking nerves. I'm about this close. About this close. You're about to see it go from 0 to McNutted real quick.
Fizzle says Marlon, those mosquitoes will be crying Saturday. Oh man, yeah. So
man, the mosquitoes. He did me like that.
That's tough, buddy. I know.
Come on.
So who's our boy Daniel Hoosen? First time caller here. Would love to know, given the landscape of Arby's and injuries this year, what are your 2 top desserts? Each pick 2, please. Thanks. I'll take my answer off the air.
Oh, there it is.
Well, given the running back landscape, definitely changes my desserts, right? It's no longer Bijan mustard.
Count? Does vodka count?
I mean, whether it's bourbon or rye, you know what is going on over here.
Let's go, man. Top 2 desserts. I'm a sucker for cookie dough ice cream. Can't tell. I'm made out of cookie dough. Put it in ice cream, it's even better. It's like part of me coming back.
Yeah.
And brownies. I love brownies.
Cookies and brownies. Cookie dough and brownies.
Let's go. There we go.
Man, I don't know that I can deviate, dude. Like, cookie dough, it's just uncooked cookies. I mean, what's wrong with that? Chocolate chip especially. How about some red velvet brownies, man, to really mix it up?
Oh, shit.
I don't have anyone to make them for. I don't have anyone to make them for me. I would love to have some, yeah.
I might put that on there next time we come out for the expo then, man.
Oh, let's go.
We'll make it a tradition. I just cook you and your wife food. We'll get some brownies going.
Hey, listen, it's a while ago now, but when Mike came to do the to the expo here, he did cook a banging dish for the wife and I after the expo was over. With the man, that was good, man. The cheese, the whole thing was on point.
It was rich as fuck, though, man. You couldn't eat too much of it. You regretted it.
Well, I did it once, and
clear you out.
Did really good. That's a lot of damage, Adam. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Appreciate all the support in the trying time right now. I got all the, Mike, I got in the chats, right? The 4D chess with the alternate lowercase and uppercases coming across. Just, you got to dine on it sometimes. You got to just take the L's.
That's all right, man. I'll carry the flag for us when I'm posting 11 championships after next week.
If you're posting 11 titles, man, I could happily be a 0,
I got it for both of us. You're coming, though. Some of these leagues we play in, man, I look at the draft capital you have and the teams that you're starting to construct, and I'm like, I better get this shit in now because it's about to be over real quick.
Let me stop playing so much and see if I'm glossed over any questions. All right. Strategy trends going into 23 from what you've learned in 22 for fantasy and how to start implementing them this offseason for your dynasty teams. Can do rebuilders versus contenders. Mike, I'll let you start that off.
I think that's the topic. That's the topic Dr. B. Harris is going to have us do on 4D, and I like that one.
Well, then that's a perfect one, and I won't spoil it here on AMA.
I love it. That's going to be
That's a great one.
Because I did learn a lot this year. Kind of like last year with best ball for us, I think we learned a lot. We're still improving on that. But I like the strides we made, kind of touched on a little bit the last 4D, but there's definitely some stuff, and we kind of talked about it sporadically over AMAs and with Scott on podcasts and everything that we've done, but it'll be nice to put a little bow on it because there are some concrete things that opened my eyes this year as far as strategy and how I'm going to implement it going forward. So that's a great one. Yeah,
no doubt. Let's see if we got – here we go. Alex Sorcy with a nice question here. 14-team Mike's favorite setting. 14-team Superflex start 9. What am I prioritizing this offseason? He's set at receiver and tight end. He's got the 101. He's got Tua, Lance, Breece Hall, Javante, and Dylan. Tier up at QB draft, one take Bijan. So, Alex, let me say this. I think there's 2 problems. I'll start this off, Mike. And one is that Bijan in this class, for me, just generalized, even in Superflex, is the best player to take at 1. That being said, especially when you get to 14-team, I think the conversation becomes real just because of scarcity at the position. I still would be fine if you want to take Bijan here, but the problem is that with taking a quarterback is the second part of this is like there's not, at least right now. Now, depending on when your draft is, Alex, maybe there's a clear-cut quarterback that everybody wants and you can leverage at 1. Then I maybe would consider it. But like right now, none of these quarterbacks, whether it's Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or the projects of, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis project to be like this highly flippable asset today. So I guess that's kind of where I would love in a 14 team to take quarterback, but I don't know what makes sense this year, Mike.
I don't think so either. And another thing that you kind of have to keep in mind too with 14 team, quarterback gets really scarce, right? It's really hard enough in 12 team, even harder in 14 team. But another thing, man, difference making running backs are also really fucking scarce. Like some people are just rolling out flat out turds. So they get elevated some, not to the level of quarterbacks, obviously, but the way things stand right now, like if you had to do your draft at this exact moment, Bijan would be your pick, no question about it. And you get all the offseason to kind of flip them into value. So luckily you don't have your draft today. We'll kind of see how things shake out a little bit more. We get some of this rookie fever in. The big thing, looking at your team with what you have, Tua, you'll have Lance back. I mean, that's very serviceable at quarterback. You got a top 12 option in Tua. We'll see what Lance becomes. Brees Hall, you're probably not getting him back fully till midseason, and more than likely not till 2024. like the Brees Hall that we expect. Javonte, kind of same thing. Dylan's been good of late. I still don't know if I trust him, but in a 14 team, you could do a lot worse. Just don't lock yourself into trying to take a position, like to fill out a roster. That's one thing that's hard for people to grasp is the time from the off season. We're going to start this officially in a couple weeks until kickoff is 9 months, Adam. Like that's a long time. You don't have to build your entire roster in May. No. You got all summer. So you try to accumulate as much value, set yourself up with enough liquidity, like Sky Connor talks about, just to kind of move and shake pieces, how they shake out, buy players when they're cheap, sell players when they're overvalued and too high. And that's really how you're going to set yourself up for September. But having the 101's a damn good start. 14-team league, it's a damn good position to be in. Better than having the 104.
Yeah. The other thing, and I wanted to touch on one point Mike made here, right, which is you don't want to basically draft for need, and you also want to keep that in mind. You don't want to force need, but at the same time, in 14 team, the one thing you have to keep in mind, Alex, I don't know what your next pick is after 101, but like right now you got Tua, who I'm very comfortable with. I think he's a quarterback one.
Mm-hmm.
But Lance is going to be coming off the injury, and at least what you're telling me here is you don't have a second, right? So what I'm going to caution you on is this: don't box yourself into like I need to take a quarterback. And then if you don't, make sure you have the stones to say, I'm not going to get gaped later on Bijan or one of these other running backs because I need a quarterback. Like that's the biggest thing here, I think, for you to keep in mind is you definitely you have some need at quarterback, I think, even if it's just for a quarterback 2, just to fill out the quarterback 3 spot for yourself. But don't get so set on filling your lineup that you either overdraft one or you trade too highly to get one in your lineup.
Good spot to be in, though. I mean,
100%.
That's not a bad base, man. I've seen a lot worse 14-team leagues going in, and they have no quarterbacks. And you're on an uphill climb, buddy. It's going to be a bit.
Yeah, you could maybe try to find the next Geno or, Jimmy G or somebody,
Jimmy
right?
G, yeah.
All right.
Sam Darnold.
We got a bunch of questions already. Appreciate everyone tapping in, man. Love seeing y'all here. Tuesday AMA, one of my favorite things out there. Mike, if Sanders doesn't resign, which of the upcoming free agent running backs would you like to see land in Philly most?
I've always kind of been a little bit of a Damian Harris fan. Just something about him. The problem has never been Miles Sanders. I think we can all agree. Granted, that fumble last week didn't help, but when he gets the football, he's been good. Miles Sanders has been good when he gets the football and is healthy. I guess some of it is on him because he has gotten nicked up quite a bit and been out at inopportune times, but it's just the way Sirianni kind of uses the running backs. And before that, Peterson, we also kind of saw that frustration with Dougie Fresh earlier in the season. It's just part of the coaching tree, too, because we also have that frustration when Frank Wright was doing this shit with JT, right? Hines is in, and Jordan Wilkins is getting touches, and you're like, what the fuck? Just give the ball to your best running back. Just give the ball to him. I'd like to see Miles resign. I think he'll be fine wherever he goes, though. He's a talented running back, albeit on the later stage of fantasy relevance for us, like ready to be a castaway. But Damian Harris, as far as upcoming ones to fill, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think it's going to cost a shit ton. You can get him in, and he can be whatever the hell Nick Sirianni wants him to be. He can catch the ball a little bit. He can run for sure. How they use Gainwell, Boston Scott will probably be there for here to eternity.
For forever.
I don't know why.
Boston forever. Scott will retire a Philadelphia Eagle. You can bank on it. Um, so yeah, that was a question for you, Mike. So I don't even have anything to say on the matter,
Fly Eagles
and I
fly,
like
man.
it. Yeah, fly Eagles fly. So, all right, we have Patty Mills. What's the best way to determine draft order for non-playoff teams? Currently given to teams with the least max points for. Should this number be from just the regular seasons, weeks 1 through 15, or the whole year, weeks 1 through 17?
No, for me, Adam, just the regular season. I don't fuck with playoffs. Once the regular season's over, if you didn't make the playoffs, you get a break, man. Go on with your life. I will say this: I do kind of like the Scott Connor approach, and we talked about it a little bit when we were on with John McGlynn last week.
Right.
I would like to do more like tournament style in determining draft order. So everybody who doesn't make the playoffs also still plays in the playoffs. Like people will still be active, still trying to win something. The winner of the tournament could get the 101, which would be kind of different because if you just missed the playoffs, like having a shot at the 101 would be really fun. The problem is, I commish damn near 20 fucking leagues and I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to seed and keep track of all the shit. So if you're just in a handful of them where you just commish one or two, absolutely. Like I'm all in favor of doing something fun like that, like a tournament or a lottery. But Adam, like the simplest, most easy answer, cookie cutter way, max points, regular
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
If you're bad, max points is going to show it. MFL is a little bit different because you can hide points on taxi and you can hide points. You got all those stupid little MFL stuff. Sleeper doesn't matter. They count the fucking taxi.
Yeah.
You can't hide the dudes on taxi. So
Yep.
best ball is even fucking easier. Just make it median scoring. Everybody's going to play, 28 games and whoever the fuck the worst record is, that's who they get it, right? It all
Yeah.
evens out.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Mike, I don't mind the tournament at the end. I don't mind some of the lottery stuff, but honestly, to me, I think one of the flaws with all of that is, and why I like the max points for and just leaving it here, is it's a couple things. Like, first of all, I prefer in the standard settings like this, a lot of times to rebuild unless people are wanting. If the values are everyone's trying to win, a lot of times I think I can get value by rebuilding for a year or two and really
Yeah.
leverage the fact that I have the chance to control 101. But if I remove that even as in my bias, I think one of the problems that I've seen, Mike, is that what'll happen is if you have a tournament, right? So let's say you have the tournament. So somebody absolutely goes for the ship. They gut their team, right? And now you have an orphan to fill. Let's even say you get someone to fill it. But if they have this horrible dumpster fire and now their team's so bad that they're guaranteed and locked into the 105, 106 yearly, like it's so defeating. And it honestly, I think can become a problem if you have one of these teams that's just gutted. So like for me, I always think, all right, this team is already bad enough. Like let's let him make the moves. And if he does it appropriately, let's reward him with 101. So if I was to do my personal idea would be like we're playing for something not the 101, maybe even like a consolation, 113 or right in front of the 201, something like that, so that there's still something to play for. But man, we all know the 101 and the 105, 106 is so different, right? It's massive.
Yeah. The one thing I think that does help take care of it, and I did a couple of these last year, was basically you do a draft with all the orphans, right? So Blitz was a part of them. You take all the players from all the teams, throw them into one pool and draft. Now Sleeper would implement the tool where I could literally just click and drop a whole team onto the free agency, lock it, do a supplemental draft with custom amount of teams.
Yep.
That'd be even easier. It'd be even more sweat off me instead of doing an Excel spreadsheet. But that has actually helped in filling orphans. So on the counterpoint to that, it's just like, yes, you can do that. You can do a dispersal draft, put everybody in, and then they have all the picks available to them. They have all the players. You can basically build your team out of this pool. If you want to go the rebuild route or you want to go the compete route, you can do both. But I do see it, man, because it is kind of time consuming to do a dispersal draft the way it is now. It is set up running off an Excel spreadsheet. So to forego having to do those or having these dumpster fire orphans that we've all seen where it's just like this team is going to be bad for a while.
Yeah.
You do need to give some incentive to those extremely bad teams with these top tier picks. Like Could you imagine taking over a shitty orphan last year? Like Bijan 101 is going to be your only saving grace for the next year or two, and what you
Right.
do with Bijan or the prospect of him.
And at least if somehow you screw it up, like typically if you're that bad, you're 102 instead. Like you're going to get your pick a quarterback or something. You get to 105, 106, Mike. Like you could miss all the quarterbacks and Gibbs. Like holy crap! What do you, now? What do I do? My team's really screwed.
Now you're taking wide receivers.
Now you're reaching on Jordan Addison, and that's the reach. That's a reach around you don't want to be a part of. Wyatt Johnson.
Not if he misses.
10-team Superflex. Goddard, Waller, Kittle, Pacheco, Terry. Start 2, 1.5 tight end premium. Starting 2 here, Mike, with a 1.5 tight end premium. I haven't looked a whole lot at the matchups is the one thing I will say. Mike, let me ask you, what was your thoughts on Waller's first game back? I think everyone thought it was better than expected, personally.
It's only better than expected because he scored a touchdown, right?
He had a couple big receptions, too, though.
He had a couple. There was a lot of Foster Moreau in that game, that's for sure. So when the actual snap numbers come out, I don't think it's going to be as flattering as people thought.
1,000% with you there. That's what I was trying to get to, though, is that he didn't play a lot of snaps.
Which is a little bit concerning. Also, Renfro being back and playing as much as he did. Generally, when those two were on the field, at least earlier in the year, along with Devontae Adams, it wasn't really fucking pretty for Darren Waller. Now, some of that was they kind of alluded to it. I guess him and Derek Carr had a little hashing of beef there, hashing it out a little bit.
Yep. 49% of snaps, 3 targets, 3 catches, and he had a touchdown. So there you go.
Just right off the bat, too, I haven't really looked at matchups for this week. Start 2, 1.5 point. Pacheco's been playing really well, man. It's going to be pretty hard to bench him. I think I'm going to start him, and I'm gonna roll the dice. And I'm going to start Dallas Goedert with or without Hurts. If Hurts isn't in there, I think Gardner will still find Goddard quite a bit. Waller, I like what I saw. Kittle, he obviously had that blow-up game, but he's almost due, right? Kittle's kind of up and down.
All right, let me touch on that because I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to sit Kittle. Debo being out, I think is – now, granted, he's only had 5 targets, but I think that there is a added focus to get Kittle more touches with Purdy, given Debo not being there. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, Kittle to me is the one here. Outside, like to me, I think it's so tough because I want to start Kittle, Pacheco, and Terry, and I'm gonna, dude. I don't know what I do with Terry and Pacheco. I think I'm gonna roll Pacheco out and sit Terry, but man, that doesn't feel good either because he looked really good with Heineke last week.
All right, so Kittle ran 26 routes last week, which is a step up from the 19 he ran before, where he blocked a shit ton.
Agreed.
The one saving grace is the week before when he only ran 19 routes, he was only running a route at an 83% rate. So that means 83% of the time he was actually going out in a pass formation. The other time he was staying in the block. That did change this week. So 96% route participation. So
exactly
not as much blocking. So I think you sold me, man. I'll start Kittle and let me start Pacheco then. I still want to start Pacheco.
We're on the same page. We're going to go Pacheco and Kittle here. Why? I think given the 1.5 tight end premium, that's what I'm going to do too. I'm with you 100%, Mike.
Tap in to start sit. I'm going to try to do it on Saturday, Adam, because I just looked at the schedule.
We have to do it on Saturday. We got to do it on Saturday. One, all the games are there, and 2, if I try to tell my wife I'm skipping, Christmas to come down here for 2 hours, Mike, you might not be able to see me next year.
It might change by Saturday, Wyatt, but right now, here on Tuesday.
What type of cameras do you guys use? Jay, I recently just got a new Sony A7 IV. Mike is using which one is that?
Depth-Tech.
Yeah, the Depth-Tech 4K monitor. We both have upgraded our 4K game. Jay, we're trying to make people like looking at us. We're being told daily that we don't look that good. Apparently. So, Mike, I'm on the left here, right? And I'm looking in league chat. I just kind of catching up at work, and someone's like, man, every time I look on the left side of one of your 4D or South Harmon YouTube videos, like I have to cover my eyes. I'm like, damn, do I look that bad? All right, well, shit.
We established earlier in the show that guy's a fucking idiot. So.
I was like, damn, I must look pretty shitty. But, yeah, there you go, Jay.
It's definitely a Conor McGregor moment, man. Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
I'll be stepping up to that fancy ass camera here soon, Adam. I got all the
Yeah.
parts in finally this week for my new
Computer?
computer.
Oh, let's
Yep.
go. Let's
Yep.
go.
So we'll be changing this setup hopefully around the holidays. I just got to get some time. Just got to
We're,
get some time.
we're just, we just started doing video work like back in March or May or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
just stay tuned. We're continuing to upgrade here at South Harmon and 4D. We can't
Let's go.
we can't upgrade the faces. Well, this is what you get, but we'll try to make it look prettier.
I can't get any prettier, but I can make everything around
Well,
me
we
look
can,
prettier.
we can get a better camera or make it dressed up around us. Make it pretend that we're prettier. Who should I start? Njoku versus Saints or Chig versus Houston?
I still want to start Njoku, man, even after
Njoku.
last week. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Especially if Malik's starting at quarterback. No offense. I mean, you did put out that nice stat about his last starts and how he doesn't throw the ball to wide receivers outside the number. He's still got awful at quarterback, man. He might only throw for 60 yards
All that said,
against Houston.
right? Part of that was okay. That's who he's throwing to, but he completed 5 of 16 passes. Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna take Njoku easy.
It's Houston. It's Derrick Henry incoming 250 yards. Like, just put it on the book.
Yeah, don't overthink this one because Chig's been playing well. Personally, Marlon, that would be my advice here. Mike made so many amazing trades to help me get in the semis. Glad I could bear all your injuries and shit too, dude. It pissed off the league, so it was a great deal.
That's it, man.
That's honestly true. Like, a lot of times when people are mad in the chat, that means that it's a deal that was good.
I mean, you're in these fucking shit leagues, Adam. No trade deadlines is the way. It has been so fun today. There's so many trades popping off. Not just me, but we got other people dealing away injured guys. We got teams that just lost going like, well, fuck it. I'm trying to reload the best I can. You want Latavius Murray? You got Latavius Murray.
There you go, man.
Have him. I know he's dying here. And the teams getting them are happy too because they're like, I'm still in it. I'm still in it. It's still part of the show. So it has been great not having trade deadlines, and there's been a wild day of trading. Like the trade show is probably just going to be all shit leagues, man, because we had so many of them go down today.
It's going to have to be because, one, like, they're the most recent, and two, there's such a plethora that, like, good luck finding other trades to talk about in one show.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. All right. Should we bench Smitty if Hurts is out and Goddard is back? Smitty versus Burks or DPJ? I'd say this much, man. Like, Smitty for me,
DPJ or Smitty here. No Burks.
1,000%. So Smitty to me, when Hurts is playing, if he's healthy, is a must start. But if there's concern, like DPJ also is getting to be must start territory for me too.
Gosh.
So if you have the ability to have DPJ as an or on your team, go ahead and give me DPJ, man. With the Watson's looking better as a passer weekly, so I'm fully in on DPJ. If you're not comfortable rolling Smitty out there.
Unlike Miles Sanders, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones pays attention to the fantasy community because ever since people have kind of been like, well, maybe not. I'm kind of wishy-washy on him. Scott Connor's out there like, if people pay more than than what DPJ is worth, go ahead and sell him. And then he just keeps coming out and just being like, I see you fuckers. I got this. Keep talking shit.
All right, man. We are so far behind on questions. Like, we're going to have to start, paying our people attention, but getting a little more rapid fire. But, Gabe, we're not going to do that quite to you yet because this is our boy Gabe, our Brucey. Are we moving Hurts on a contending semifinal team
100%.
to get that final push? Burrow 1-for-1? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Easy. I just traded for Burrow. I just traded Hurts for Burrow today.
This could be one of those where you're feeling like it's going to backfire, but here's the problem. The upside of Hurts is higher, yes, but Burrow's more certain. And if Hurts is actually hurt, that's a smash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a great pivot, honestly, in my personal opinion.
Is there like a top 12 quarterback that you wouldn't trade 1-for-1 if you're trying to make that final push? Like
top
Tua,
12, maybe you probably wouldn't say pause on maybe a Tua. I mean, top 12, like you're talking Dak Prescott, you're getting to age
Trevor
differences.
Lawrence, Justin Fields. I mean, granted, most of those top 12 guys are hurt at this point, right? Lamar.
Well, that's why I'm saying
Kyler.
top 12 is what's the true top 12 because like Kyler's hurt, right? Like I'm not doing
think
that.
of a top 12 guy that's not hurt.
There's like 7 guys probably, Mike, because you're not trading up to
Yeah.
Allen or Mahomes. So
Nobody's dumb enough to do that.
no, God no. So you're talking after Hurts, you're talking Burrow, Herbert, Lamar. You can't trade for, right? So it's
Unless
Burrow,
they were to come
Herbert.
out and be like, Lamar's completely fine. He's starting this weekend. Even then,
Even then, I have
Yeah.
hesitancy, right? So it's Burrow, Herbert, Fields, T-Law, Tua, and then Kyler's hurt. Mike, you're talking about what is that? 5 guys? One,
Yeah.
2, 3. It's 5 guys. You're going to get a burger, man. So,
But for Burrow, yeah, 100%.
or even paying a small premium like a late second.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
would
pay
do
a
that
small
too.
second. Yep.
You add the late second, I'm cool on a move that big.
I'm good because even if you don't win, man, it isn't like you jumped multiple tiers down and now you're stuck with a turd or somebody who's descending in value.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow's kind of locked in there. If I got to pay a second to go try to win a championship, you best fucking believe I'm doing it.
Sign me up. What could Bijan possibly do during pre-draft season to remove him from the de facto 101? Okay, so this is the thing. There's nothing he can do. It's more of what the quarterbacks could game on Steam. The only thing he could do is like have a significant injury flukely. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything.
A couple things, right? Injury a little bit. I would also say if he does perform at the combine and he performs poorly, like runs a 4.65, you know what I mean? It's not going to happen, but people will have questions if that happens. You know what I mean?
Let's be more realistic.
We're such athleticism snobs, but that would have to happen on his part. And like you said, the quarterbacks would have to ascend. Like it'd have to be a clear cut that the person picking up the 101 or the 102 is so over the moon with Anthony Richardson or so over the moon with Will Levis or whoever it may be, and they do everything in the pre-draft process correctly for Bijan to fall. But it can happen. It can happen. We act like it can't, but we're fucking in December, man. A lot's going to change between now and May. A lot will change. I don't think this one will change, but it could.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, right? To me, like Bijan's not running a plus 4.6, higher than a 4.6, unless he runs it hurt. Like that's not happening. Maybe he runs like a 4.5, and people aren't like, oh, it's maybe not quite the athlete we saw, 4.55 or something like that, but
or has like a horrible DK Metcalf 3-cone or some shit.
Some weird drill he doesn't succeed at. I think the kid's going to kill the combine. So I think this scenario really is the quarterbacks are creeping up, and you have quarterbacks that get very high draft capital to possibly like a sexy landing spot if a team trades up. And then you have Bijan, like if he doesn't get first-round draft capital, you got a whole day, then he goes day 2, let's say, even if it's early to a shitty landing spot. Like that's the only scenario realistically outside of him tearing an ACL or something really bad.
That's fair.
During, workouts, in my personal opinion. So it's less about what he could do. It's more about what the other quarterbacks in particular could do to make the case closer, in my opinion.
Yep.
All right, so Fizzle. With Herbert and Lamar having shaky seasons and not hitting that top 5 mark as we expected, who are the guys coming up behind them that can take their spot in the next 1 to 2 seasons, and should we trade high? First of all, Fizzle, tomorrow we are recording 4D with Ray, and we're going to do a deep dive into the quarterback landscape, a lot of different nuances in the quarterback talk as well as how it applies in Dynasty. This is a tough question, though, Fizzle. And, Mike, I'll let you start it off because, man, it is hard to project anybody that's not in this top 8, 12 range to take a big leap, honestly.
Not outside of the top 12, man. It's a little hard for me. As far as guys who can make that leap up in there, there's only a handful of them. I will say Justin Fields is one, just because of that elite rushing upside that he provides. For fantasy, it can almost be game-breaking at time. If he gets some weapons, can actually put some passing with it, kind of like Jalen Hurts did this year. Mm-hmm. You see a Jalen Hurts-like ascension, right? And then we're looking at Herbert going like, you're supposed to be all this, but how come Jalen Hurts is above you? Well, that's why. Fields for one. Trevor Lawrence is the other one. Pretty much the only two I can see making that.
Does Watson count?
If he gets back to being Deshaun Watson.
No, I mean, like, is he eligible for it?
Yeah.
If he's eligible, I'd put my hat in.
The problem with Watson, like why he doesn't originally come to mind, and I touched on this a long time ago with Deshaun Watson when you and I were having this conversation, is the fact that there's a lot of people out there, especially in today's social media, that don't forget and that have this bias towards him. And the problem I have with ranking Deshaun Watson high is I rank people based off market value or what my perceived value is that I can move them in my league, right? To kind of
Mm-hmm.
keep a stock market feel towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got somebody who 3, 4 owners in my leagues might be out on because they have issues with him, personal, like no matter what, no Deshaun Watson, like makes it a little bit tougher, right? It makes it tougher for me to rank him higher. I talent wise, there's no question about it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
question about it. We haven't seen the production yet. It's still early. We got to see how he gels, but I do. Yes, that's a long way of saying yes. He can be one of those
It,
guys. It just
and I'm with
it
you,
doesn't
but
feel good.
I think to me, like if I'm going to bet on somebody, it's going to be a quarterback that has a guaranteed contract that's still relatively
Yeah,
young to the
yeah,
position. And okay, for you won't trade me. That's okay. This is a position where I don't feel like I have to move it. I get what you're saying though. I understand that people probably will hold a grudge, but my other pushback would be if this time next year Watson is the person that's winning fantasy championships, how many of those guys are still hollering?
the thing I say, like we kind of talk now, and what you just said, like if people don't want to trade for him, oh well, yes and no, Adam, because I've been in this situation now in multiple leagues, and we were just talking about that question. I'm in the semis. I have this elite stud quarterback.
Gets hurt.
If 3 or 4 people don't want to trade for him because they have this bias against him, Adam, like that's now detrimental to me. You know what I mean? Like now I got to jump down a tier. Now I got to try to find somebody who will pay me Watson's price. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to fucking eat it and probably take an L in the semis, and that's when it starts costing me money, which I don't like. I don't like. You know
Yeah, I
what I
guess,
mean? Like
but I guess they're
Trevor Lawrence Fields don't have those issues, those problems, that stigma against them, so it's a lot easier to make those kind of deals.
yeah, but I think the argument there on the flip side again would be that Watson's cost of acquisition would come into play here because if he's costing the price of Hurts or not Hurts, if he's costing the price of Hurts or the high end guys, I'm with you because now you're paying full boat, and if something bad happens, you don't have an out as easily. But if you're
Yep.
getting him in the prices of just north of Murray and right there with like T Law and Fields, I would love him as my bet, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not going to push back too much because I'm with you. He could be on some leagues less tradable. I'm also of the belief that sometimes people forget about that stuff eventually. They're very mad today and they push back, and then next year they're not. But it's a valid argument, man. It really is.
I don't
I
know
can't
if
push back too much.
to answer Fizzle's second part, I don't know if the buy window's still open on Trevor Lawrence after the last couple of weeks. But I can tell you, just judging by Twitter and the questions that still come out and the shit people still say, the buy window on Fields is still very much up there. There's still a lot of people that are,
It
oh,
doesn't
they
make
might
sense
take
to me either.
they
Though.
might take a quarterback at 2. Shut the fuck up.
In what world?
I know, I know, man. I know.
All right, let's get to more serious questions because they're not taking a QB at 2. What advice would you give to a first-time commish? Mike, I'll let you field this one because you're a multiple-time commish. Go ahead.
Keep the bylaws simple, sweet, so there's no confusion. People don't like to read a bunch of shit, and if you put a bunch of shit, they probably won't read it, and then it'll just become an issue down the road. I always make people pay 2 years up front. Takes care of a lot of stuff. That way I don't have to have multiple league safes going on. We just pay one league safe, keep it rolled over. And then be very clear about scoring, draft order. Like those are the big ones people are always worried about. They don't want the scoring changed. They don't want the draft order rules messed with. Those need to be very clear and concise from the get-go. And anything else, put it up to a league vote. Majority wins. There's always going to be a couple malcontents here and there, a couple people who just want to ruin leagues and be a baby and cry. Easiest thing to do is just, make fun of them and then kick them the fuck out and move on. If I literally have to pay somebody's league dues just to keep the league going, to get some piece of shit out, I will do it. I will do it. I will pay for you to come in to take over this orphan because I kicked Johnny out, who's a sack of shit.
Sorry, Johnny. You're going to fuck up this much. You got to go, big guy. All right, so we're done with that one. Michael had a question here. Let me find it. While you were answering, I was starring questions so I can get to them
Let's
easier.
go.
All right, Barry. Oh, this is actually isn't. This is kind of question in the chat talk. Sorry about that. All right, Michael. 12 team Superflex start 11 lineup. He's talking about right now giving Allen. This is Josh Allen getting Fields 107, 24 first, and late 23 second. Here's what I'll say, Michael. Start 11. I'm definitely okay with this because there are more starters. The other thing here is the 24 first and the 107 are nice pieces. If there's any way to see if you could grease that 23 second from being late, I would try it. But here's the thing. Do not kill the deal over this because this already as it is a deal I think Mike and I both would take. And take the risk. I would take the risk. Although Allen's so secure, there's some risk if Fields ends up not being a long-term asset. But, Mike, you're still getting 2 first, and who knows where that 24 first could be if this guy's given that much to go get Josh Allen.
Correct. The only thing I'd change about the deal is exactly what you said. I'd take the 23 late second out, and I'd ask for his 24 second and just make the gamble that he's dog shit in 24.
Boom. Take the gamble for 24. Figure out a better player than maybe a late second in value that you could maybe flip easier. I'd still take the deal as it is, but I think because of Josh Allen and he's coming off this crazy game in the snow again, like you could probably ask for at least that part because you're not getting, you're not asking for his 25 first. You're not asking for something crazy. You're asking for just a small change. I think you could do that pretty easy.
Yep.
All right. So Young XPR, what's up, my guy? Redraft question. In the semis, opponent has Hurts. Should I drop my whole bench and pick up every decent QB on the wire? Who are these people? Because, yes, if it's a real stud type, but no if it's like getting to the grim QB situations. Mike, what do you say?
I mean, if it's a guy who has a realistic shot of being a top 15, 16 QB quarterback on the week, right? Just to block him.
Right.
But, I mean, if you're dropping everybody to take a shot on Gardner Minshew or fucking the next Brett Rippon or Colt McCoy.
Who are the guys, though?
Because the dudes you may drop may end up actually starting on when somebody else picks them up and then start against you. They filled a wide receiver hole or a flex or something. Nah, I'm good.
Here's the QBs I would definitely consider doing this for. Well, first of all, if somehow someone doesn't own Jared Goff, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
I don't know after that, Mike, really. Like, weekly, I think
Daniel
all these
Jones,
guys past
right?
this. Yeah, okay, yeah. Daniel Jones is in the same mix as Goff. That's fair. I'm looking more later than that, thinking, like, what would actually be on the wire. Like, I don't care if he goes and gets Russell. I don't know. Russell Wilson's probably owned. Like, I don't see anyone here that worries me late. Like, Zach Wilson? Are you worried about Zach Wilson?
No, I'm not.
All right,
so
I'm good, man.
As I talk, no,
I would say, Young XPR, if you want to follow up, drop like who's actually available, and we'll kind of give you the threshold of where to block and where to stop. So,
but I would cock block on a few of them if there's some hanging out there. Like I'd be looking at the end of my bench real hard, being like, "There's no chance I play you in the next 2 weeks." Period. Sit the fuck down. I don't want this guy getting Daniel Jones or Jared Goff or anything like that.
Just don't go drop like Zay Jones for one of these guys.
Yes.
Like that's what you got to make sure you don't drop someone you might actually start.
Dude, I like the question though. I like where he's coming from because I did the same thing. Not on quarterbacks, but I'm looking at fab budgets for pickups tonight, and I'm going like 4 people left in the semis, including me. How much budget do the other 3 have? Oh, not enough. I don't even need this guy. Let me just bid $1 more than you. You can't even have him. I'll wait to drop him till fucking Friday night at midnight. Good luck.
I'm reading this in my head, Mike. If you want to read it aloud, I'm just.
What's my favorite part of the fantasy season?
To me, I don't know that I can answer this truly, man. Like I like the totality of it. I like knowing how the general person operates in each different window, and trying to remove myself from the feelings of all of that, and play up the values during.
I can tell you
what
my least favorite part is.
Okay.
That time from about June through August. I fucking hate it.
Just because of hype season?
It's nothing but conjecture season, right? Twitter, social media,
but
it ruins it.
Okay. Let me say this. I get what you're saying because it does get kind of silly. Like,
yes.
But to me, Mike, I actually have learned to really like it because I feel like I can, in those windows, right before, like, conjecture season to me is actually one of the parts I really enjoy because it's right before the push for the redraft season comes, right? I can play up, okay, Laviska Shenault's killing it in camp. Now, I've learned from experience and being the one that gets all excited from that, and now being like, okay, Laviska Shenault, here you go. Here, go get your wide receiver 1 for your dynasty career. You pay me that price, boom, I'm out. And I think that's a very exploitable time when people are so excited for football and they haven't seen it in so long. They're just going to make up in their mind what's going to happen. And when things get way out of order, here you go. Here's your guy.
All right, I'm good with it.
I'm with you, though, that like outside of being able to play that angle, it's just like, dude, we've seen this before. Why are we doing this, you know?
We do the same thing every year, damn it.
All right, pick up T-Law and play on Thursday, or get one of Minshew, Carr, Purdy, or Rodgers. Pick up.
Oh, I want T-Law.
Chris, here's the thing. How is T-Law available? Like, is this? I'm hoping this is a trade. If this is waivers, this is criminal.
Well, it could be redraft, 1 QB league, 12 team.
Even still, right?
Still, some of those, man, he'd been floating around out there for a while.
I know. I saw him in one of my redrafts out there like 4 or 5 weeks ago. But like, the dude's been going off the last 3 weeks.
I know.
All right, but anyway, I'm not trying to clown your league, Chris. I'm just saying if he's on waivers, holy hell.
Yeah, I want.
Go
T-Law.
do whatever it takes. Okay. If it's fab, do whatever it takes. If you have the number 1 spot, I do not care. T-Law to the moon. All right, so let me try to get caught up on questions. Are we? Oh, here we go, Mike. You're gonna love this, buddy. Are you playing? Are you playing your boy? Whoa, yes.
I'm not playing a skill position in the Superflex. Stop it.
Oh, I didn't read the second part. I'm sorry. Okay. Najee's been balling, but it's not a good. Over time, you'll find that it's not the correct strategic play for a guy like Wilson, who has the ability, even though it's not great, to pop off. If we're talking Brett Rippon, okay, play Najee. But we're talking about Jeff Driscoll. We're talking about Zach Wilson, who does have like very, albeit raw, high upside passing tools. I mean,
he's
Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore could help him ascend to 25-30 on a random week.
Right, and he's done it before this year.
Correct.
So
that's my pushback. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm not starting a skill player unless I'm no.
There's a line at quarterback, but it's much lower than I think personally.
I mean, if I got like one flex spot and my wide receivers are Chase Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and DK Metcalf, I might go, you know what? I might fucking play DK Metcalf in my super flex, but your team probably ain't that.
All right. Jay says, would you rather have the Burrow, Chase, Higgins stack or the Hurts, Brown, Smitty stack? Mike? This is a fly mosquitoes fly question, right?
Yeah. I'm going to put my Eagles fandom aside, and I'm going to say Burrow, Chase, Higgins. Give me the Bengals.
I'll tell you why is because Chase goes for more than Brown. Higgins goes for more than Smitty. I think that Hurts may go for more than Burrow, but they're pretty close. So I think weekly they pose both massive upside, and I think for trade value, I'll take the Bengals side of this.
I'll take the Bengals too, and I also think they might be a little bit more explosive from a fantasy points per game. Like if Hurts goes off, generally there's a lot of rushing involved.
Like 3 rushing touchdowns?
If Burrow goes the fuck off, it's because he threw it to all his receivers.
And if Burrow went off, like if he's top 3 on the week, I think there's almost no chance Chase or Higgins doesn't have a touchdown.
Yep, for sure. They're not all going to Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst, and Mitchell Wilcox.
Joe Burrow's not getting 3 rushing TDs either. So
watch, he comes out next week and scores 3 rushing.
I don't know if it's because it's because we drink and we just answer any questions that comes on the screen, or if it's because we're so deep in the fantasy playoff anxieties, how we're just trying to like lighten the mood. We're getting crazy questions today, Mike. Like, what do you like to eat given the running back landscape? Which gas station do you prefer to get food from? Have you ever had Wawa?
No, I've heard about it though.
I've had it. When I was out in Jersey visiting my buddy. It's good. I don't know that it's quite. Where sometimes it's hyped up. I prefer Sheets personally. I've had a lot of Sheets in my day.
Around here in the Midwest, it's Casey's for me. That's a Midwest thing.
Racetrack. I actually have never heard of Racetrack. Okay, nope. Sorry, Dynasty Alex. Where are you from, Dynasty Alex? Drop that because we both have never heard of. Racetracks. Yeah, I guess Wawa and that one easy. But Sheets is the correct answer. Made to order, MCO. All right, so sorry guys, I have so many questions. Why are you sorry, Jay? One, you're in our top tier. Like you can ask these anytime you want, but
Ask away,
never
buddy.
be sorry for asking questions on AMA. Everybody watching, what you should never do is come on here and be sorry for the amount of questions. Now, I will say, today we're going to cut it off closer to an hour, so we may not get to all of them, but never be sorry for asking a question.
Keep going till I tell you I had enough.
See?
I'm a man of the people.
Mike proved, his not just endurance, but his people skills and how much he cares about everybody last week. We went, dude, I woke up and I was like, okay, like I can be a little hungover. I wasn't like horrible, but I'm like, man, that was a marathon we did. It was almost 6 hours we did content-wise, Mike. That was
I'm a man of the people, except for T-Rex Cone or Bartholomew.
All right, people are out here. I'm trying to stay out of that. We've made it, Mike, because this is now another time where we're getting.
We got a new private dating.
We're getting a new sex bot on here. We're down to like 8 minutes. We're actually running out of questions. All right, okay. What are the odds that Wilson is still in New York next season because the offense is ass? When I don't think he's out of New York at all. I think it's almost zero. Oh,
the odds
racetracks down in Florida.
Still in New York next season. 100%?
90, 99, 98? What do you think?
98.9. I don't know. 90% because, maybe some stud quarterback becomes available on the trade market that we didn't anticipate.
I'm trying realistically to think like,
damn it.
Maybe there's a 5. I'd say there's a 5% or less chance he's gone.
There's gonna be a guy like Lamar floating around, possibly in free agency, possibly.
Okay, but here's the problem. Personally, my opinion with this is, like, Wilson then is just gonna be. It's not just that he's gonna go casualty. It's that you've burnt the number 2 pick, and you're like completely not giving him one more chance. I think the GM's back. I think Salah has done a good enough job to keep everything they have intact. It really comes down to a very small percentage chance. Can they get positioned to kind of get a steal on someone they can't pass up? Like, I don't think there's that many of those guys out there this offseason, Mike. Lamar's probably the exception, honestly. And I think with the Ravens, when all comes down to it, I'm not saying they're going to pay him what he wants in this guaranteed money. I think before anything happens, they'll franchise him at minimum. So,
that's fair.
Like, I don't think it happens this year if he's gone.
I will say this. Maybe somebody becomes available. I never thought Russ would actually be available. I never thought Deshaun Watson would actually be available until the scandal, and this is a couple years ago. I'll put it at 80 in New York, but 100% he's starting somewhere for some team next year.
I'm loving Koopa's energy. He's like, no. Potentially not answering all the questions this week? Last week wore you out? Koopa, listen, if you do warp charts on content creators, don't get me started. You know who's up at the top. You know who's up at the top. All right? Don't get me started. Rhett, what's good, man? Rhett just joined after last AMA last week. We appreciate you hopping in the squad, Rhett. What's good, boys? How would you value McLaurin on a rebuild? 12-team Superflex lineup start 9. Should be competitive in 24. He's my current wide receiver 3. I think McLaurin's a hold in this situation.
I'd be holding McLaurin, but if you came at me with a first and a second, like as long as the second wasn't 212, you know what I mean? Like if I get a 205 or better, 206 or better, came at with a first and a second, I think I'd let him go. But
I would too. Let me say that everybody's tradable, right? Even McLaurin. I just think typically in leagues that I've seen, people are trying to buy low on McLaurin. Like if you can get an actual first and a decent second, sure. I just think a lot of times, like, you're having a hard time with someone even sending a liquid first for him. And to me personally, I don't care unless that's like 105 or earlier. I'm probably just holding Terry.
It's like Terry or your third choice of wide receiver in this class.
That's my point. Exactly that, Mike. And if your window is 24, like, I'm not really on the side of – see, what I'm not on the side of is selling a guy like McLaurin in a window where he's not really a true sell. because someone's trying to nickel and dime you. And more often than not, when people are trying to buy McLaurin today, it's nickel dime types. So that's just my personal opinion.
Trying to get one over on you.
Generically hold. If you Mike's right though. If you can get a true first and second out of him,
then
anyone will be
like
tradable.
Shots. Yep.
Is Purdy a must start? Even if questionable, this is obviously a super flex question.
No.
Well, okay.
Must start versus what though? Like
that I think I think that's where it's kind of worded.
Like Joe Burrow's a must start because you don't have fucking Allen and Mahomes and Burrow and fucking Hurts if he's healthy. Stop it.
Okay. Well,
you can't say must start.
I think he's meaning like, is he a typical quarterback 2 on the week this week? I think is what he's really saying. But
is he a top 24 quarterback on the week?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
Yes. I would say unless you have 2 top like 12 guys for sure, like he's in the range of like I'm going to throw him out there. Personally. My personal opinion. Now, there's some guys in the mix that you're not going to start him over. Like I'm not starting him over Goff. I'm not starting him over Dimes.
No.
I think after that, though, you probably start making the case because it gets bad in this landscape, Mike. I get your frustration with the question, but come on, man.
Because he's fucking horrible, too.
Who? Purdy?
It's Mike White reincarnated.
All right, but here's where I differ. Here's where I differ, though. If Purdy plays for the Jets, I might agree with you. I actually am very interested in pretty much any quarterback not named like Nick Mullins or the cast of characters they had that 2019 year.
That's good because he is Nick Mullins.
He can run better than Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins is god awful.
That's my point. He's not that bad. I think he has a little bit of upside.
But you've seen a couple games, man. We saw a couple good games
fantasy.
from fucking. We saw a couple good games in fantasy from Nick Mullins. We saw a couple good games. We saw a couple good games from fucking CJ Beathard.
Not this good.
That's my Iowa guy.
Not this good.
The same offense, same fucking coach.
I know what you're leaning into, but don't act like Purdy has been really good, and he had a week that was top 5?
Okay.
That's not Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard.
QB 11 one time.
That's great. That's not quarterback 5. What was he actually?
It's quarterback 5 with like 75 quarterback injuries on the year, Adam.
But that's the question now: is he must start? I think he's absolutely in the mix after the top 12.
No, I have a fucking vendetta against backup quarterbacks.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna come on air and say it. The answer, unless you have a stupid quarterback lineup, is yes. Just to make content for y'all because Mike needs to be checked.
Horrible.
Mike needs to be checked on the Brock Purdy. He ain't Nick Mullins. He ain't
Holy
CJ
shit.
Beathard.
CJ Beathard had a QB 5 week one time.
There you go. Well, you know what? Even if I'm wrong there, Mike, guess what that is more to the point of? Start the San Francisco quarterbacks, damn it.
He had 2 QB 5 weeks. How
about
that?
Start the San Francisco quarterbacks. I can't lose here. Start the San Francisco quarterbacks. Jimmy G's had top 5 weeks, and he stinks. They'd use 3 first-round picks to go get a quarterback, and Jimmy G still had good weeks. All right? That's how good the system is. Go start that quarterback, damn it. I will not lose this debate. Start him.
I better see you in a fucking Brock Purdy jersey before this offseason's over.
There's no way to get a Brock Purdy jersey unless you know the guy or get a custom-made one. All right? So don't ask me to do things that are impossible. I'm not that flexible.
Demand it. The people demand it. Brock Purdy jersey.
All right, let's get back to questions because we're already almost out. We're basically out of time, but I'll give you 5 minutes extra because I derailed some stuff there. 10 teams start 2 quarterback. I have Fields and Tua starting with Lamar in limbo. Facing the guy with Hurts, Tannehill, Zach Wilson, Davis Mills. I offered him Lamar for Hurts if Lamar gets activated and Hurts is out. Did you actually already offer this? I wouldn't offer this yet. I'd wait until you know for sure that Hurts is missing and Lamar is playing, but in that scenario, I'd imagine he won't do it. So...
offered him Lamar for Hurts. Who would you rather have right now? I mean, it's still close for me. Lamar or Hurts. Say they were both fucking healthy and going to play, man. I mean, we're only talking about, what, 1-2 spots?
They're right there. My point is, like, whoever's playing is the one I want of these two because they're so close.
Well, especially because you get the guy who's playing and it keeps it off the other dude's team.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're playing him this week, right?
I'm trying to think realistically, like who I actually have ahead. I personally have him in a tier, Mike. I think for me,
Like in this situation, I'm more than comfortable holding on to Lamar,
yeah.
just because if Hurts doesn't play, like fuck you, man. Lamar's like I'm not gonna lie, man. I probably want Hurts over Lamar, straight up, all things considered, just because I'm an Eagles fan. I think it's probably fair to say
I lean
for
Hurts too
scoring.
because of the weaponry that he's guaranteed basically one more year.
So in that situation, then though, I don't think Lamar's far enough behind for me to go like I'm going to do you a favor and give you a quarterback who's going to play this week.
No.
Fuck you.
I think the thing is there, Mike, to me, and that's why I said what I started with, is they're in the tier for me. And I'm probably comfortable saying Hurts is ahead of Lamar in the tier. But in a tier, if a guy's playing and another one's not, get bent, man. Go somewhere else with that noise, man. Get bent. I'm out. I'm good.
And if this is redraft, definitely get bent.
Dude,
really go fuck yourself.
Man. Come on. I'm not like, listen, I know people are like, oh, all you do is rebuild. But I'm not actually truly in the business of like donating. Like I'm not in the business of gifting. I just think that that's such a nice swap for someone that wants a quarterback personally. So
that's fair.
Fizzle, I think they're very close. If you want to lean Hurts, I get it, but I just wouldn't forego Lamar if he plays and Hurts is out for a week. Like and he says big gamble, too big of a gamble for me, man, personally. Any other? Oh, here we go. Q-top. All right, Mike. What do you think? 2 more questions? 3 more questions?
We'll do 3 more. 3 more,
right.
and then we'll bounce.
3 more and we'll bounce. We said we got to get out of here early because we're doing
Garrett Wilson, Godwin, D-Hop this week. Yeah, with McSorley. Yeah. Give me Godwin actually looked pretty good. The Bucks as a team fell apart. And Garrett Wilson's still Garrett Wilson. So yeah, I think I'd start Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna start Garrett Wilson on Thursday night. Why not?
Q-top, I don't know how often you tune in, but you already know what my answer is. So now that Mike said it, we're good. You know, we got what we needed to get out of there. Let's see.
I don't hate starting Godwin, but I agree. I probably want them both over D-Hop.
T-Rock, what was your special message to Mike? Because apparently I missed one. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Nope, I got it. Mike, I just want to make you proud. That's all I want to do in life. But if it can only be with Carnitas, so be it. Man, you that cold to him? It's only Carnitas that can pleasure you?
No. Oh, I told you I like my guy T-Rock, man.
I know.
I didn't buy him a Mark Andrews jersey for nothing.
Yeah, and you know that was Mike because Ravens jerseys don't exist to me.
I just hate his co-owner. I hope all the bad things in life happen to him and him alone.
They're not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
Not fucking real.
Actually,
that wasn't really a question. So 2 more.
I said we have 2 more, and Mike. Oh, hold on, sorry, I missed. No. Yeah, we already got questions, dude.
We had an Iowa tight end. We had an Iowa tight end question, man. We can't end the show without
who asked the Iowa tight end question?
Dynasty Alex, man.
Was it a while ago, or is it later?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Most recent.
There we go. All right, it just refreshed on my thing. Heard a little buzz about Iowa tight ends.
I don't know what buzz you heard, but
I know what buzz he heard. He's talking about when Mike.
Hall?
He's talking about when Mike talked him up on the last 4D episode. That's the buzz he heard.
Sam Laporta, tight end too. Let's go.
So Mike, here's your chance. Here's your shot, buddy. Talk him up.
The analytics guys will be on my side, right?
JB is on your side for sure.
Getting Ray the film guys on my side.
That's a totally different animal.
Getting them to watch Iowa offense is going to be a struggle.
Well,
they'll probably fall asleep.
let me say this in where that Sam Laporta has come from. All right, because in the OG Heisman days, right? Because we got the new Heisman tier members in there. Love all of them still, but the OG days we were on a chat. This is before I had content and a baby and all that. I could hop in almost daily, and Ray's like, listen, man, who do y'all want? He's on the back porch. If you know, you know. And he's like, what tight ends do you want me to look at? And Mike's like, listen, man, y'all going to call me crazy, a homer, or whatever. But listen, I think you really need to look at this tight end. Sam Laporta. He wasn't in the database at the time. Right? It's like, you really think he's good? All right, man. Mike, you know what? If you think he's good, I'll look at him, man. I'll look at him. I promise I'll look at him. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'd never heard of Sam Laporta. Is Mike like gonna have him looking at some trash tight end? No. The analytics people are in. I don't know how in the film people are, and I think, when he gets drafted, where he gets drafted will be something that helps or hurts Sam Laporta, but he's absolutely in the mix. This tight end class is really bad. Like, there's a case for him, honestly. Like, I'm not personally putting him at tight end 2, but there's probably a case where he is, because there's just no one after McBride.
Yeah, we went through it, last week?
On 4D, yeah.
It was like, yeah. Who else we got? Well, we got this kid from South Dakota. And even some of the guys, like, we're kind of excited heading into the year about Jaheim Bell.
Appreciate you, Soko. Go ahead.
Transfers, staying in school for another year. It's like, kick to the teeth. All right. It's Michael Mayer and then a bunch of, we'll have to see how it plays out. But Sam Laporta, I like him. Still like him. One of the better tight ends come out of Iowa.
Yeah, so Dr. Squatch has a question that we're going to end on. It's a great one to end on here. And T-Rock's already hit it, but let me just be the person that tells you, Dr. Squatch, listen, I believe this in my heart of hearts. Not just because Mike and I are, running 4D. Like, I think that the group of people we have in our Discord, what's amazing is, like, I could not look at my phone when I'm busy for 6 hours, 8 hours. And when I come back, the engagement's amazing. The amount of messages is overwhelming. But then when I read a lot of it, like, they're tapped in and they listen. And not only they listen, like, they make a lot of sense. And they're like, holy hell, these guys they're saying it like I would. Damn it.
You know how I know it's good? And it's just kind of a thing of its own at this point. We have a lot of smart people who are tapped in. And when I do get the opportunity, right, I get a shit break at work, and I'm like, let me check Discord real quick here. And I go through, and there's 70 messages I missed. I might hit the last one. Would you guys trade this for this? And I come in, and I'm like, nah, man, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I give a quick couple reasons. I got like 6 people in my own motherfucking Discord that go like, you're crazy. No, you how could you say that? That's how I know it has a mind of its own, because you think you're gonna come in and drop the fucking hammer, and it's like, nah, I get bullied. I get bullied in my own Discord. I love it.
That's the best part too, is like, they're tapped into what we say, but people that are tapped into 4D are not, like, this isn't their first Dynasty rodeo. Like, people are very much tapped in there. I love their answers. Love the engagement in our community. Dr. Squatch, the reason I'm saying this too is to find a new Dynasty league. One, any shit league that we run is guaranteed to have Mike or myself, and most of them have both of us in it.
Both, yeah.
And then on top of that, like, I don't know. Personally, I think in best ball leagues, we have awesome engagement. We have, Mike bantering with some co-manager. We have, we have a lot of trades during the playoffs, which people don't even allow in a lot of leagues. It's just my personal opinion. But there's other places you can get it. But if you're asking me on RAMA, it's easily join the South Harmon, patreon.com/South Harmon. For $1, you can get in the door, chat with all the shitheads. There's a $5 and $15 tier. But if you want to do a new startups, which is about to be in 2 weeks, this is the place to be.
And not even just for our leagues, man. Like, we have that league channel. There's people in there posting orphans. We filled a shit ton of orphans.
Yes, sir. Fizzle.
Pretty easily. And they're starting up new leagues too, like leagues that I have no interest in. They're like, hey, it's a lineup league. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I don't even want to be in it. But it's good. It's good. It's the best place to find Dynasty. Why? Because everybody in there is passionate about Dynasty and knowledgeable about Dynasty, and everybody just wants to play more Dynasty leagues. That's how it is.
Jay's yelling at Fizzle that he should make an intro, because here's the thing. I love our intro and outros, but Fizzle, if you will make one for us, if you haven't left, I'm sure we can work something out, buddy, because we love your music that you drop for Ray, for everybody. You know what, Corey? Listen, I'm going to address this, because I love the hell out of Corey. He's in the league with me. But damn it, Corey, why are you coming in here every time? It's like we are about to press the end button, and here's Corey, and he knows what he's doing. He's laughing. But damn it.
He may be tardy, but at least he shows up, right?
Listen,
even if it's at the end.
It's like if I'm back in the day, like when you go, the professor looks like someone's running in, they got the breath going, like out of breath, and there's like 2 minutes left in class. Okay, well, you came, but happy for you, Corey, though. Honestly, I think he lost in the one league I'm in. But Corey, keep coming, even if it's late. We appreciate you. Mike, anything you got before we get up out of here, man?
Nah, man. If we ever make it big enough that Fizzle would grace us.
Uh-oh.
If he ever made it big enough that he
I
would
can do
grace
that,
us.
champ.
Oh, my. Oh, Merry fucking Christmas to me, man. That's incredible. If you do Fizzle, man, just hit me up. You got my deets on Twitter, man. Hit me up in DMs.
Hit Mike or myself up, man. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
I will proudly play that because Fizzle is amazing. Go check him out, man. His music is really, really good. I love you, Fizzle, man. You're incredible as well, buddy. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everything you do, and thank you to everybody who tuned in. Tuesday night AMA, last one before Christmas. We will be back. It'll be after Christmas, after my 6-year-old finds out that mom spoiled the shit out of her.
Santa or mom? Both.
Mom.
I love it. All right, y'all. We appreciate everybody tapping in. You know what it is by now. Same time, same place next week. Make sure before next week you're tapping into everything 4D as well as the newsletter. We'll have the premiere for the trade show. Even though you may not have trades going on in your leagues, we have them. And we will do the trade show again Saturday. So we're out of this thing. Love y'all.
That's it.
Peace.
Peace.